I was just like, I don't really care about gender anymore. Like, I don't really like ID with the traditional trans mask. I'm like trans mask non-binary. So the evolution has gone from being fixed to fluid.
Style evolves. That's the beauty of style and clothing and personal style. Do you think that your personal style has changed since while you were figuring out who you were to now being almost a fully realized person?
I mean, I've learned how to dress. It's great. I think the thing which I loved about Manchester was that you saw people not just in outfits that you thought I'm only going to see in like magazines or on, posters and things like that, but it's the confidence that people had with that as well. And I think that, I went into sort of that era of my life and I was a bit confused about who I was in every way, shape or form. And actually seeing these amazing people just looking incredible. I got my first few piercings done on my 21st birthday, and I just thought, you know what, I'm in a city where nobody really knows who I am. At that point, I didn't really know who I was either, so I thought, this is where I have a little bit of fun along the way, and for sure, it was a good defining kind of era of my life.
Interestingly, my experience as a trans person is it's a little bit different. So, like, I've always been androgynous, like I've always been the tomboy, and then I started tea. And I did I'm going to be hyper masculine for a little bit, which was really embarrassing. And looking back at those photos, I'm like, what were you trying to do? Who were you trying to be? And then I was like, actually, like, I want to explore makeup. I want to explore like accessories and jewelry a little bit more. And then I started like branching out into like skirts and like, like the kind of like longer dresses and that kind of thing. And then like after my top surgery, that kind of like exploded like even more. I was just like, I don't really care about gender anymore. Like, I don't really like ID with the traditional trans mask. I'm like trans mask non-binary. So the evolution has gone from being fixed to fluid, basically.
Yeah, that's bad. I suppose that's quite empowering as well after top surgery. The empowerment that would bring you.
Yeah, because I think that before that there were so many things where I was like, I feel so restricted that I can't wear. Whereas like now, like I will be risky on a night out. Let's just say that.
I feel like I've been on the roller coaster with all the loops. Before I actually came to terms with my gender, sexuality, whatever, I think I went through every stage and every gender possible before I've reached the point that I'm at. So I went from trying to be hyper feminine, and then I went straight to hyper masculine and was like, oh, maybe I'm a guy, and trying to figure that part out. And then now I'm just at a stage where I'm like, I don't care. I'm comfortable. I'm gonna wear what I want.
Absolutely. See, for me, I think as a young person going through school during Section 28, I was very much that hyper feminine young lad, especially in a small town in the south. It was almost like I'm screaming at you I'm gay without having to tell you over and over and over. And I think the beautiful thing that we have now, especially through the Proud Trust, is the Rainbow Flag Award. So we are in schools and we're making it part of the curriculum to discuss gender and sexuality. And through that, I think we've got a generation of young people now that are really kind of growing up, not having to scream so loud, I'm gay, through this style, or I'm trans, or I'm non-binary, through their style, because we're teaching just to be who you are. Where do you see the future of style? Like, what do you want to see change as we develop?
Accessibility. Accessibility is a huge thing to me, like being a wheelchair user as well as being a queer person. There are so many items of clothing that are still ridiculously gendered, and I really don't think they should be. Like, you have a body, wear what you want, and I think it's key for everyone to know that, no matter what you wear, as long as you're like a good person and you're putting out love into the world, your clothes don't matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think we just need to move away from this like gendered idea, because I think it's so ingrained in society that even sometimes when I'm like, oh, I want to buy something for myself, which is considered like a girl's piece of clothing, I'm kind of just like, how is that going to be reacted to? How is that going to be perceived? I just want the thing that's stopping people to stop. So yeah, less gendered, more DIY as well. More of that. Do you know what I mean? Let's bring the materials. Let's bring community, the safety pins out. Bring the community together. Like, make things together. That's a big thing. I think when I moved to London, was a sense of like the trans community, and like there's a lot of things where we just work together. And I really enjoy that. The more of like helping each other and making it more accessible, because I think a big barrier as well is like finances as well can be a big barrier, especially if it's something where you're like, oh, I really want to wear that thing, but it's just so expensive. And it's like, but can we make something that's similar as a group of people?
See, I'm going to echo exactly what you've all said. I think for me, the future is to de-gender clothes. Clothes aren't gendered. We've gendered clothing.
They're made for bodies.
I love shoes. Shoes are my thing. And I think we gender shoes too much.
I think as well, certainly with Schuh, where the new shop fits coming in, and that where we're kind of trying not to gender the fashion kind of brands, and I think that is definitely the way forward.
So,
all right, last one. One thing that you cannot live without. One piece of jewelry, one piece of clothing. What is one thing that your personal style you couldn't live without? Kenya.
my rat. I'm a big accessorizer. I love accessories. My rat is called Templeton, by the way.
Literally and figuratively, my medical necklace, I keep all my little jewelry that I can't wear all the time. I can still show it off, and it's right there against my heart, and that's where I want it to be.
It's got to be a good pair of Doc Martens. Absolutely. They're like me. They look pristine to begin with, and then they look a little bit better battered.
I love that. And I know they're going out of style, but for me, I couldn't live without a skinny jean. That's what I love.